play. There's just one place to turn at the end of the day. You never know what exciting game you'll see when you tune in to Board Game House on twitch.tv. Find a game to back so you can be its owner. It's time once again for Derek's Kickstarter Corner.
Okay, so we have actually quite a few Kickstarters today. I found some good stuff on the internet this morning. We're going to start off with some stuff that we've talked about before. Altered Carbon, the RPG, still has 8 days left. This is from Ivan Van Norman and his team of folks. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a role-playing game based on the Altered Carbon short story as well as the Netflix show. Speaking of the Netflix show, it is this month. It might. I haven't been on Netflix actually, so I'm not 100% sure if it's on there yet. But I'm super excited because I love Anthony Mackie, and Anthony Mackie is taking over that lead role. Anyway, the role playing game is here on Kickstarter for 8 more days. I mean, just like any Kickstarter RPG. There is a PDF version, there's a digital version where you can get just the book in a PDF format. You can get the actual physical book for $50. And then there's a $100 deluxe version that comes with an extra module for you to run, as well as several other things that'll help you play the best Altered Carbon experience as possible. If you're not familiar with Altered Carbon, it's sort of like a cyberpunk future where when you die, you can re-sleeve your consciousness into a new body or travel great distances. You basically just email your soul to a different body across the universe and not have to deal with spaceships or whatever. It's a super cool idea. I highly recommend the TV show. I haven't read the short stories, but I guarantee you that based on what I have seen, they're great. So go check that out. And also, it's Ivan Van Norman, and what has he done that's not been good? So go check out the Altered Carbon RPG. It still has a week left on Kickstarter. Next up is Swords and Wizardry, which I got to do a very special interview with the writer and curator of Swords and Wizardry. This Kickstarter is for a boxed set. It's sort of like a collector's edition of all of this material. But basically, Swords and Wizardry is the rules for Dungeons and Dragons as they were in 1978 before they actually became Dungeons and Dragons. So this is like taking it back. It's very basic rule set. It's very cool. If you get the chance, go check out my interview with Matt Finch where we talk about everything that led up to Swords and Wizardry and got his insight into RPGs and stuff. This box set, you can get an accessories bundle, which basically is some additional stuff, a monster book, a module to run, and stuff to sort of enhance the Swords and Wizardry experience, because you can get the actual Swords and Wizardry, a PDF version, for free on Frog God Games' website. Which is very cool. Matt Finch talks about how important it was to him that this just be available because it's not necessarily new information, but they have put a lot of work into this. So I highly recommend you go and check out this box set. If you want to get the physical box with several books, soft cover. It's $50. It also comes with dice and stuff to help you run games with character sheets and stuff like that. And then there's a limited edition version of the collector's box that sort of just beefs everything up a little bit. It's very cool. Swords and Wizardry has a week left, so go check that out. Next is another RPG. It's called Descent into Midnight. It's a very interesting idea. I sort of exchanged messages with the creator of this afternoon, and we were talking about how it's a little difficult to sort of explain what Descent into Midnight is, just verbally. But basically what it boils down to, is it is an RPG system that sort of surrounds technologically advanced aquatic civilizations that have never met or run into any form of humanity. Basically, when you're creating a character, you're sort of taking the base of some sort of sea life and enhancing it in some way. But the game itself is based on community, family, hope, and sort of protecting your group of people and your ecosystem from some sort of trauma, whether it's like an actual physical trauma or some sort of emotional threat or even existential. It might be some sort of social idea that's tearing apart this society. And basically, those threats are designed through the character creation. So when you and your group of people that you're going to be playing with are making your characters, you're sort of agreeing on certain ideas that are going to shape the game that you play. It's very cool. And one of the best things that I think about this Kickstarter is one of the tiers that they have. So you have the regular stuff. $20 will get you a PDF version of the RPG. $40 will get you a hardback copy of the book. And for $80, so basically you will be paying for two books. One for yourself and one that they're going to send to a school or a library so that other people, so that kids can have access to this RPG free to them. So you are sort of sending love of RPG out into the world, which is something that we really enjoy as an idea. Whether it's board games or RPGs or whatever, just sort of sharing your interest in your hobby with other people, and I think that's super cool. And when I was talking to them this afternoon, that was something that that they wanted to do from the beginning of the Kickstarter, and it's such a cool idea, and I love it a lot. There's 20 days left on Descent into Midnight, so you can go check that out. On the Kickstarter page, they have several actual play videos of people playing the game, as well as sort of a sample version that you can look at what's in the book as in terms of like character creation, what like the beginning of a game would look like. So go check that out. I think that it's important to back projects like this because it's such a cool idea, and if this project can get a lot of attention like it already is, then maybe in the future more Kickstarters will do stuff that will sort of allow other people outside of their sphere to get a hold of this content. It's super great, so go check that out. And now we're going to get into some fresh stuff. The first of which is a board game called Bivouac. This is a board game about camping. I wrote a little thing, and it's pretty funny, so I'm just going to read it to you. Remember summers with your friends by the lake, hiking, camping, s'mores, songs, and all that other summer camp fun? Neither do I, because I never did that. But you can build your own camp where other people, fictional people, can enjoy all of those things at your profit or potential dismay. So Bivouac is a game where you are sort of creating your own camp, and you're going to be hiring people to work the camp, and you're going to be like creating activities to do at your camp. It is resource collection as well as several other mechanics. It is a Euro game, and basically you're running your camp over the span of 13 months. So December to December throughout a whole year, getting points for money that you make, getting points for happiness and stuff. It's a pretty cool idea, and this was another one where I actually did get to talk with the people that are running the Kickstarter this afternoon, and they were telling me how they wanted to design a family-friendly game for that kids can play, that anybody will enjoy. But they also wanted to make a game that sort of could slowly introduce somebody to bigger Euro games. which is what this is a Euro style game, but it's also they wanted to create a gateway game so that they could get more people from playing simpler games to these newer, more thematic games, and that's a great. That's great. There is a print and play version of Bivouac that you can get when the project's over for $15. So basically, if you don't know print and play, you're getting a digital copy of the game, and you can print it out and cut out the cards and stuff to play the game for a very limited price. There are with the base game, which you can get for $49. It's obviously going to come with like card stock, like linen finished cards, as well as wooden pieces to go along that you're going to collect. And that stuff isn't going to be available for print and play, obviously, but you can take a $50 game and you can play it at home for $15. And that's just, I think that's great. I think it makes it accessible to more people, and that's what I'm about. So go check out Bivouac. It's got 20 days left, $50, $49. It's a gateway Euro game, so check it out. Next up is a heavier game, but I love the theme. It's called Futile Endeavor, and if you can't tell, that is Catherine the Great's shadow being cast over a field, which is, it's gorgeous box art. But basically what this game is you are a noble living in Russia under the rule of Catherine the Great, and you are trying to impress her by having the largest, most beautiful thief in the country. So you, this is a game where there's sort of stuff happening with each player at the same time. People are going to be sort of making bids on different fiefs that are available to buy, and then sort of taking actions behind a screen, collecting buildings and stuff to make yourself more profitable and get yourself more money so that you can spend more money on the fiefs. And it's sort of cyclical, but basically at the end of the game, whoever has put together the most symmetrical or the most profitable square land area is going to win the game and win Catherine the Great's favor. You can also battle with your rivals to sort of get prestige points. It looks like a super cool idea, and overall, it seems like a unique idea because everybody has a character, has a screen that sort of protects their play area, and you're sort of doing stuff in secret, and it just looks super cool. This one also has a print and play version. For $9, you can pick up the print and play. For $49, you can get the base game, and there is a deluxe version that sort of upgrades all the pieces. Instead of wooden cubes, you're going to get like actual wooden custom pieces that are cut to fit what they're supposed to be representing. And that deluxe version is $64. Fuedal Endeavor has 24 days left, so more than 3 weeks to check this one out. But I think it looks super cool. It's 2 to 6 players, and it takes about 10 minutes per player to play through. So there you go. Next is an RPG that I love. I think it's a great idea. It's called Tiny Cthulhu. And basically what this is, it is a new addition to the Tiny Dungeon saga. And basically what that means is it is a minimalist rule set that helps GMs who want to run a game. It's less work to put together a game of this. The rules are lighter. You're only using 3 dice per person. And it sets it all. Tiny Cthulhu takes that micro setting idea and sort of sets it all in that Lovecraft universe. So, everything that would come with something like Call of Cthulhu, story-wise, is going to be included in these games. But there's also going to be settings that come in Tiny Cthulhu that are going to allow you to play in prehistory, as well as World War II and modern day. There's a superhero setting, as well as like a sci-fi future setting. So basically you're going to have big old Cthulhu tentacle monsters all over the place. I think this is a super cool idea if you're just looking to getting into like smaller RPGs, or if you want to dungeon master or game master for the first time. This is a good like segue into what you need to do. It has all the typical things that a regular RPG has: character creation, but it just makes it all simpler and less effort to jump into a game. It has all the typical archetypes of a Cthulhu Lovecraft universe. Priests and scientists and like archaeologists and stuff like that, as well as the corruption, the typical stuff where you're gonna go crazy if you don't roll well, if you're not doing well, or if you run into stuff. It also has a cool pulp fiction and noir style of play, where if you want to do like a more detective style game as opposed to like an action game or something, all of that is included in the book, in the setting stuff. There's steampunk, there's gadget, there's all kinds of stuff. So even though it's called Tiny Cthulhu, there's a lot of stuff in here, but basically what that means is it's simpler to absorb and to use, which I know a lot of people are looking for, because Dungeons and Dragons is very rules heavy, so they're trying to look for something that doesn't take as much effort. This Tiny Dungeon series tackles everything, and Tiny Cthulhu is the newest one, but it's also a very cool one, and I very much want to get this one. It has 26 days left. You can get a digital copy, the PDF version, for $15. There's a softcover version for $25. There's a $40 tier, which will get you a hardcover version of the book, as well as some dice, as well as a GM screen. And then like there's obviously a deluxe version where you're going to get all that stuff, plus it's upgraded, plus it comes with a special dice bag where you can put all this stuff in it. It's a super cool idea, and I would love to get it and play it on the stream. I think it would be great. And finally, this is the last Kickstarter for this week's corner. It's called Infinidungeon, and it's super cool. Megan showed this to me, and basically this is a gridded vinyl screen that rolls out of 2 scrolls. And if that isn't cool enough, it's 20 feet of dungeon. This vinyl on here is 280 grade, so you're gonna be able to pick up, like if you spill a drink on it, if you spill salsa on it while you're playing, it just wipes right off. You can't scratch it, you can't crinkle it up. It all fits on those scrolls. Plus the scrolls have flat sides on them, so they just sit on the table so they're not going to roll all over the place. And 20 feet is a lot of map. And there are currently 4 specific scrolls that you can get. And each scroll comes with its own module. And each of those modules is like a full, smaller campaign that you can run that is going to go specifically with this dungeon. So you just scroll along as you move through the module. There are 2 different sets of handles. There's like a black set and this... oh my goodness, the cat's running around. There's this black set of scrolls and then the tan one that you can see there in the photo. There are 4 different modules, and they are... I wrote them down. The Lost King. So you're going to journey into a tomb of secrets and magic. There is the Gates of Aguafus, which is basically a group of sorcerers are summoning things, and there's a cat looking at me, and she's going to attack me. There's sorcerers summoning things deep in a dark, dank dungeon. There's something called the Mad Descent, which is basically just you trying to explore through the 9 hells. And then the 4th one is called Trouble on the Grogmar River, where you're sort of making your way down a river and eventually going to attack an orc stronghold. Those are the 4 main ones. There's a stretch goal that will unlock a 5th scroll. That sort of all the backers are going to create together the module for this one, so it's going to inform what's on the scroll. And then if you just want one of these super cool scrolls to just draw on yourself, which you can do. Every single one of them is dry erase safe. But there's also the sixth option is a completely blank one. It's a blank grid, 20 feet of blank grid that you can just draw on and as you go for your custom homebrew campaigns. This is such a cool thing. There are all the options you want. One of these scrolls, so your choice of one of the scrolls is $49. Two of them is $89. Four of them is $149. And then if you want to get all six of the scrolls, when the campaign's done, you'll get all six of them. It's $199. If you back at any tier, you can always add on more once it's over. There's never a risk of that. I do want to point this out. If this is speaking to you, I highly recommend jumping on Kickstarter now, because they are doing early bird specials where you can, if you back for the early bird, you're going to get stickers. They're clingy stickers that'll just come, that you can place right on the vinyl, and then you can peel them right up and use them later. So there you go. Check out, I have all the links to every single Kickstarter that I've talked about today on our Discord. So you can jump over to our Discord and go get the links so you don't have to search through Kickstarter. I think all this stuff is great. I think I've started to, when I choose something that's going to be in the Kickstarter corner, I've started reaching out to the creator just so I can let them know that I think their project is really cool. I recently talked to somebody and we had a pretty in-depth conversation about how important it is to support creators. A lot of these Kickstarters have a $1 tier. So basically you're giving them $1, you're not really getting anything in return, but you're just telling them that their Kickstarter is pretty cool and they're doing a good job, and that means a lot to those creators. So I've started reaching out to them to let them know how cool their project is and that I'm featuring it here on the Kickstarter Corner for all of you lovely people. So there you go. That's the Kickstarter Corner for this week.
When the time comes for a new game to play, there's just one place to turn at the end of the day. You never know what exciting game you'll see when you tune in to Board Game House on Twitch.tv. Find a game to back so you can be its owner. It's time once again for Derek's Kickstarter Corner.
If you enjoyed this Kickstarter Corner, join us live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/BoardGameHouse. Also, we're going to post them here, so hit that subscribe button below.